Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chris Dyer's Creative Friends, the super awesome podcast show where me, your artist friend Chris Dyer, talks to all his amazing creative friends. Today, I'm in the Long Island of New York, visiting my friend Rosie, that many of us know as Illuminated Rose. She's a soulful, visionary artist, community member, a very interesting person who's had a long, deep life, and she has so many great points of view. So I really wanted to come to her personal home studio to interview her, and I know you will very much enjoy this conversation. Blessings!
While the world is turning, got to make amends. Walk on the sunny side with the positive lens. Talked about passion with all the beings in this land. Chris Dyer and his creative friends, darling.
So I made up the background, but I made it have the zigzag of like to make your eye move from here to here to here. You know, like.
Well, it's beautiful.
Thanks.
And I think you paint beautifully.
Thank you, man.
Rosie, we're rolling.
We're rolling, baby.
Woo!
So welcome to my humble abode, and both of you, Paulina and you, thanks.
Thank you so much for having us over here in your beautiful Long Island home.
Yeah, blessed a mess, right?
Yeah. How long have you been here?
Oh God, let's see. I got the house in the 80s, and yeah.
Nice.
Like, let's see, my 79, 81, like 84, 85, 85.
It's great that you're so close to New York, yet you don't have to be like in the suffocating city. You got like a house and a backyard.
That's right. There's a train nearby. I could hear the choo-choo.
Yeah, and hella airplanes too, huh?
Well, that's, I think there was a lot of airplanes going over because the weather, when the weather changes, that's why you had a delay.
Yeah, so all the planes went this morning.
They go. And they'll do that once in a while with just like, be like, I got to move. There's so many planes. And then other times, not so bad. But I feel like I'm ready to go more rural. I'm not using the city as much lately.
Well, it's good to at least be in between the city, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It has culture and nature. You got enough nature to not go crazy. But yeah, I totally understand if you want to like straight up go out into the country and like turn into a tree.
Less Wi-Fi, less,
pollution.
Less.
Well, I don't know if we can escape those entirely.
Yeah.
I know we just drank some coffee, but I'm going to drink this this little potion. Is my first sponsor. It's called Magic Man. Would you like one?
Sure.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's got matcha and cordyceps and lion's mane.
Cool. I need lion's mane. It's for the brain.
It's for the brain. It's designed to make you smarter, energetic, crisp, energetic. Well, I said energetic already.
Chris.
Chris. Woo.
There you go. Yes,
Thank you, Magic Mind.
Thank you, Magic Mind.
It's so great to have a sponsor. For the show. And if people want to try this, go to Magic Mind and put the code ChrisDyer20 for a 20% off.
I'm in.
It's delicious, right?
Yeah. It's tasty. It's good to carry around, man.
Yeah, totally. I'm really appreciative of their help in my mental cognition and energetic levels.
Thank you for turning me on to it.
Yeah, no problem. But you're not from Long Island, right?
No, I'm from Brooklyn. Brooklyn, all the way. This accent. Brooklyn.
How was it growing in Brooklyn in the 60s and 70s?
Brooklyn was always cool. I mean, it continues to be cool.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. We were the highway hippies on Kings Highway, and it was very exciting.
What was your neighborhood there?
It was called East Flatbush and bordering like Canarsie. Kind of where like Bernie, what's his name, that presidential candidate lived around there.
Okay,
it's the same accent. Hey. And then bordering Brownsville, we had the hood, and we had a lot of middle class, huge variety of people, all these different, people that came over from Italy and Germany and Northern Europe, and it was a nice melting pot.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It still is,
Yeah, and was the hippie movement very alive back there?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Tell me a little about it.
Well, I just remember like there were like what you might call the suits now or whatever. There were the collegiates, and then there were the greasers, and then all of a sudden they came the hippies. There was like this third group of people that we were hanging out with, and it was just great. It was lots of music and parties and
Optimism.
like peace marches. I mean, right now after all those peace marches and things, it's starting to get a little like, yeah, this is a warring planet. It may never end.
It's so confusing. Like you don't even know what's good or bad anymore because there's so many angles to everything. Like even what you think like, oh, that's clearly something good because they're cheering for like peace, and then you're like, oh, but there's this angle of cohesion. And
we shouldn't even go there.
No, we should not get into politics, but like compared to back in the day, it seemed like simpler times where you could just be like, we don't believe in war.
We're at war and we don't want to be at war.
Yeah.
Now it's people say, whose side do you want? I say, I'm the side of humans.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a side. I'm the side of humans. I want all humans to remember that we're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I wish it was like as simple as back in the day. Maybe the world isn't so simple with black and white and, just two clear, sides. Maybe the good and the bad is in the heart of each person, and we just gotta like use our intuition to feel out what is real and what's not.
That's right. Don't get caught up in the fight. If you take a side, then you're in the war. You're on a side, just stay in love. That's the side. Love is my religion. Don't mind my voice, people out there. But anyway, no, like that. If you could just stay, like have agape, have love for everybody. Easier said than done, especially if you drive, Yeah. But,
Well, that's my intention.
And I laugh. I find myself saying, ew, mother, why do you get in your lane and that kind of thing. But then I remember like, okay, this person probably didn't get good driving lessons.
Well, that's the biggest challenge, to love our enemies is like, if we can achieve that, I think, loving somebody who loves you is so easy.
Oh, totally.
But
and even then sometimes.
By loving somebody who like causes you stress or harm.
Oh, yeah.
But to know that they are you in a different body and that we're all one.
Isn't that hard? I know.
That's enlightenment, I suppose. And I'm not there yet. I think,
I'm not there yet.
Because we live in, once again, a world of duality and the appearance of separation. So to win the video game is almost like to know that, we're all cells of the same body.
I hear you. Yeah. Totally, yeah.
One step at a time, though. So we met at CoSM, the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors that Allyson and Alex Grey run now in Wappingers Falls, New York.
Amazing that it's built and open.
How many years have we known each other out there? It's been a minute, at least 10 years?
You and I have photos of it. I have to dig them up. Maybe I can dig them up and you could post it if you want, of you alive painting with the big dreads. And so, I don't know, that might have been 2016 maybe. So I don't know, but even goes before that probably.
So you've been part of that community since forever, right?
Yeah, since before it was a community. Seriously, I met the Greys. I opened up the Omega catalog and I have some connection with the Greys because there was a painting, The Kiss, where there's two loves are connected by like a little arc. And I'm on my first or second date, maybe my second date with my now husband. And we're in what kind of guy's going to go to a polarity therapy class? He says, what are you doing this week? And I was thinking, I'm taking this class. And he said, you want company? I said, okay, this guy's all right. So I'm in this place, like a new age book center. And this woman says, oh, you guys, you must be together a long time. I see an arc connecting you. And then I remember that painting by Alex Grey. I said, well, maybe, I don't know. And then we end up together. Then it was just like a date, I know. And then I open up the Omega catalog and there's Alex and there's that painting and then Allyson, and they're going to be teaching a class together. So that's how it started. I took the class at Omega, loved it, and I came back, I'm not kidding, every year after that until they made me their assistant. You go long enough, you become their assistant,
That's so cool. How many?
Since the 90s.
Yeah? So you couldn't even remember how many Alex and Allyson Grey workshops you've taken?
In the 20s.
Okay, nice.
Then CoSM became the place to go to take classes after that. for me anyway.
And before CoSM was CoSM, it was
Okay.
Alex and Allyson in their Brooklyn apartment, correct?
Yes, that was where the first full moon was.
Tell me about it. You were at the first one,
I was
right?
at the first full moon. It all started with, and a lot of people know the story because Alex and Allyson say it, but there was a shaman, Alex Stark, I think he was from Peru, and they were asking people to go on committees. And I think I got on 2 committees, and one committee was like to try to get, radio or something, them to get interviewed. And the other one was being on the prayer committee. And at first I'm saying, like, what is the prayer committee going to be able to do? But I said, I wanted to do it because there were nice people on it, my friend John Lloyd and this guy Alex. Well, anyway, it turned out the prayer committee said we should do full moon or new moon prayers and that kind of thing. And that's what it was the beginning. I may have vaguely told the story, not 100% correct, but that was the beginning of like, you guys, you need a community, start doing something on the full moons. So that first full moon, they had a group of people in their house. It was a small group. I think there was like 10 or 12 of us, maybe. I remember I brought wine and cheese. I didn't, we went there. We went
you thought
up
it was a potluck.
It was just hanging out. And then we sat around this big, beautiful wooden table, which I think is still now in their studio, and talked about, art and the community and how they could get how we can get the sacred mirrors up. And then every month it would grow and grow till it outgrew their house. And then, the rest of the story. They got the place in Chelsea, and then
Did the Chelsea for like 5-6 years, something like
I
that?
don't know if it was that long, but
Yeah.
it was fun. It was a fun place. But, it was like a disco above it, and it was just, it's not like being on the sacred grounds of Wappingers Falls there.
Now they've had for over a decade their Wappingers Falls 40 acres, something like that.
I'm not sure, but it's just an
it's-
amazing, you walk through the gates and you say, I feel like I'm home. It's like it's my home away from home. I love it there. I love just being on the grounds. I just love the art. I love the grays, the staff. It's, it's good vibes.
How does it feel to see, to say normal, who's normal and who's not normal, right? It's special. But you're hanging out with these people. Obviously, they're inspiring, great artists that you went to learn from. But you become friends and you hang out with them. And then you see them like gathering 12 people in an apartment in Brooklyn.
Right.
Fast forward 15, 20 years. And now they got this big community with thousands of people flocking to this free-story mega building full of art.
For sure.
And is this like something that makes you proud or humbles you?
Yeah, it's like
in the reflection of their light, or
proud because they're like family to me now.
nice. Hi, we take this little pause from our conversations for me to let you know that I got a brand new art book. This is my second art book, Shamanic Journey, that just came out with Last Gasp Publications. It's a 256-page book, full color, shiny, beautiful pages full of my art, writing, stories, basically everything I've done in the last 13 years. And I worked really hard on this book. It took me months to lay out by myself, and obviously the art has been a labor of love of many years, and I've condensed it all in this beautiful book that now is available on positcreations.net. You can get a signed version, you can get an unsigned version for a little bit cheaper. And yeah, this won't run out of electricity. On this digital world where we gotta charge everything, or a solar flare could knock out the electricity of the world and you'd be like, whoa, where did all my Chris Dyer go? No, this runs on energy forever. You never gotta charge it, you never gotta water it. It'll always be there to give you new inspiration and art. And I've done this with a lot of love, and I hope that you will get a copy for your own personal library. And reflect yourself in it and make your own book and story of your life. But here's mine, and I hope you will enjoy it. positcreations.net. Thank you. So you were an art teacher?
Yeah, I was an art teacher in
High school?
No, I was in elementary school and middle school. I started in the middle school, and then the school, two schools combined, and I had a choice of traveling to two schools or taking the elementary school, being the only teacher there, and I took that gig. It was great.
Uh-huh.
At first I was saying, oh, I don't know what for these little kids, but it was the best.
Yeah.
They just love art. There's no discipline problems. They just want to like come to your class.
Yeah, that's beautiful
Yeah.
to like catch the youth before they've been indoctrinated too hard by Babylon system life,
I know.
and give them like a little surfboard in the waves of existence to be
Yeah.
like, hey, you can express your soul part too.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what you do; it's going to be great. And that it's an interesting thing that I think in 4th grade is when they do all those testings, and maybe maybe they're in 3rd too, but all those national testing scores, and that's when the kids suddenly say, I can't draw this. Will you draw it for me, Miss Rose? And I say, no, your mother doesn't want to see my drawing. I want to see your drawing. So it's interesting that when it comes to testing and grades, that's when the kids get closed down, and even the art class.
What age is that?
Okay, so let's see. It's about 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9, 10.
Mm-hmm. That's when they start getting more rigid about.
That's they start getting nervous about their grade, and they if it's good or bad, as opposed to like
Just being.
Draw me a picture of like the meaning of life. They'll just start drawing, and then
Yeah, too bad
Yeah,
that we start judging things as good and bad. And of course, once again, the world of duality,
I
we
know.
decide like good or bad, black and white, up and down. But also the kids don't see it like that way, at least at the beginning. They just see
Right.
like everything is everything
Right.
and everything is good.
Right.
And we're the ones who are indoctrinate the youth and be like, good painting, bad painting, as opposed to be like just a
and
painting.
even art school is like that. Art school screws up so many artists.
And it's fine to like refine your technique. Obviously, there are better
Right.
paintings than others, and
You could help people with perspective is off, and
sure, there's
but not to
technical things, but
crush them.
right, you can't lose your soul in saying something beautifully. There's the technique, and then there's the uniqueness. You can't lose your uniqueness in delivering something that's so perfect that you can't even see the person's heart in it anymore.
I used to have to put an art show up once a year for the school, and every art teacher had to do that. And I didn't know. I wanted to put as many kids' artwork in the show as I could, so I just like plastered them from the floor to the ceiling, all the artwork. And then some lady came by and says, it looks like art wallpaper. That's what she said to me, because there was so much art. But she didn't understand that every one of those little pictures meant so much to that kid and their parents to see it up there, that they were part of this exhibit.
Totally.
Yeah, so,
just
so even
showing a
they,
piece of the heart.
adults judge it like,
Yeah. Let's all become like the kids we were before. So
That's
let's go back to CoSM and the Greys. So
Okay.
you ended up assisting them, and then eventually also have taught workshops at CoSM.
Yeah,
Tell me about the whole teaching workshop experience.
Okay, so during the time I met the Greys, before that even, I met a woman, Judith Cornell, who later changed her name to Rajita Shivananda. She became a Hindu. And she was teaching mandala classes. And this sounds weird because it's like the same thing I did with the Greys, but I took a class. I really got into it. That's when I had my first real third eye opening. It didn't come from drugs. It came from heavy meditation, and images just started to flow. And then following that, I started studying with the Greys, so I had more third eye opening. But I started to study with her, and she came to New York and asked if I would be her assistant. So I ended up assisting her in California or New York, and then when she passed, I ended up taking over some of her classes in California in Mount Madonna Center. And so when CoSM started to have teachers come in, it was like a, obvious thing that I would do the mandala class.
Mm-hmm.
My class would follow your class.
You're right.
I remember, like, it was like a week apart.
Yeah, our mutual friend Adam Millward.
Adam, hey Adam, I hope you're out there.
Yeah, Adam Millward, episode 5 of the show, Montreal artist.
Yeah, so he would take both our classes.
Yeah, he took my skate art class, and then he stayed for your class.
Yeah.
And he's a mandala artist, so
yeah, we just hit it off.
He probably would crush your classes. He'd be like, I know how to do a nice mandala.
But it was different. But we did a different style. It was more about drawing the light. It was called Drawing the Light from Within.
Uh-huh. So tell me about a mandala. What is a mandala? You know, it seems like in quote-unquote drug experiences or psychedelic openings, may it come through entheogens or, natural ways. It seems like we get these symmetrical, circular,
almost like
expansive
kind
visions. Why do you think that is?
I guess it's like sacred geometry. It's like a part of us, I think. I mean, if you look at, the flower of life is supposed to be such a sacred symbol, but you look at it in nature, it's like the way the eggs form into that same little shape. And if you look at flowers and you look at the center of a big sunflower, I mean, these are part of life. These sacred geometric forms.
Yeah.
And like the
Archetypes.
Fibonacci thing. So that's one of the things. Also, if you think of the planet as constantly expanding and breathing out, maybe breathing into.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's also that thing starting from a center and branching out, like the big burst of energy that's supposedly started the universe. I don't know if it's true, but might be, because we seem to like everything's starting and branching out. I heard Thurman say, what's his name, Robert Thurman say that as soon as the first man took a stick and made a circle in the ground, that was the first mandala artist.
Uh-huh.
And then putting something within a container. And circles are sacred. I mean, they're everywhere. They're in the sun, the moon, your iris, your eye, the cell we come from. What's the first thing you see in the morning? The sun. It's
right. And it's an infinite shape because it doesn't have an end.
It doesn't have an
end.
It's
continues. It's a symbol of infinity in a way.
That's right. It is.
It reminds us that we can be infinite while still being contained as a separate I or planet or being. We can still be infinite. As we go inside, it goes on forever in a way.
That's right. And also it's as a container of essence, like the word mandala it breaks up into like container of essence, or, or soul or something. And so you're putting your picture in a container. And if you hold an intention with that, which is a very important thing that we did in our classes, starting in the 90s before, what's his name of the book that, all about intentions. Well, before all these guys were doing that, we were writing an intention for every mandala, whether it be for opening the heart, for unconditional love, or forgiveness, or healing. So, like, all my paintings have an intention in them.
Nice.
This might be for, like, Mother Nature, healing the planet, like, letting Mother, Gaia awakening in everybody's heart. So, like, if you write an intention, if you do an intention for everything you do in the morning, like if you get up, instead of looking in the mirror and say, oh my God, I look so old and my hip is hurting. Instead of doing that, if you say, it's going to be a great day, I feel great, then that you set an intention for yourself.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it'd be great that every single action that we do all day long, every day, has an intention like, I'm going to drink this coffee. I want to be awake and sharp for this conversation.
That's right.
So then we can shine to the best of our potentials and then like share our light with the viewers of this show. And then they're going to be like lit up and they're going to shine their light and so on. And it's all because I had intention drinking this coffee. It could be as simple as that, huh?
You set intentions when you do your Sunday posts. I always am so turned on by them. They're always a positive thing to see.
Thank you.
It helps me start the week off. And you're like a healer shaman in your own right. When you do those posts, how it affects so many people in a positive way. That's a great intention.
Thank you. I try not to take those labels because they're tricky because I don't want to call myself anything.
You are you.
Yeah.
That's all this means.
I'm just trying to be me, and I'm of service. And when I do those Sunday posts, I'm just trying to like reflect where I'm at.
Right.
in goods and in bads.
Oh, you've been so honest.
Oh, thank you. I think if we all communicate honestly where we're at and we say like, oh, I'm not alone in my process. Like I do it with my art, but my paintings take like weeks, months, years, and then you show it one day on Instagram and then it's gone the next day. But with showing up every Sunday and be like, hey, I'm also a human. I can use
I
my
should
mouth
do
and my
that.
words.
Yeah.
And here's where I'm at. Do you resonate? Do you not? Can we have a conversation? Where can we evolve together in this journey that we're all on as humans?
What a great commitment. Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
So back to the mandala, it's almost like a scientific, mathematical code for consciousness and God. So like if I imagine if we had a picture of the whole physical universe, it probably would look like a circular or at least oval container. If it has no end, then it's forever. But like it probably is like bubbles of galaxies. At least that's how I imagine it. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, but even
We'll
like
maybe one day we'll find out.
even a solar system or a galaxy looks like a nicely orchestrated, roundish painting.
You know, but even if I don't have any to show you right here, but you know, when I teach classes, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. I mean, I say just go for it. What came through? What came through in your meditation? If it's like, you know, I remember a lady, she saw a bug and just, oh, I hate bugs. I said, all right, you know, you don't have to draw that. Go back into meditation. You know, she gets this big headache, and finally she draws the bug, and it was this beautiful ethereal insecty bug, and just don't fight the vision. And it wasn't symmetrical, and it was just within the circle, and that's a mandala. It is. It's within a circle, and so it doesn't always have to be that.
Yeah, you can reinvent the wheel.
Totally. That's right. We are not perfect.
I used to have a girlfriend named Ariadne. I don't know if you remember her.
Sure.
And
she did great mandalas.
She did great mandalas, but once in a while she would get like online attacked by cancel culture haters. They'd be like, mandalas are an Asian thing and you're culturally appropriating something that only one culture on planet Earth should be using and you're not that culture and blah, blah, blah. I think all of that is BS. But how do you see mandala as attached to any culture, or is it a cultureless expression?
Oh, it's a cultureless thing. It's in Native Americans. They do the sand mandalas for healing, the Navajo, and
really, Navajos do sand mandalas?
I think it was the Navajo.
Interesting.
You know, forgive me my memory. I'm getting up there in age.
Like, are there not any natives?
But all of a sudden,
and
then they have the power shields that they make, and then you have in India they go out and they do the little symmetrical designs too, and then you have the Christian rose windows, and you know the Star of David. I mean, come on.
It's all over.
It's universal.
Yeah. So let's not put walls around it.
Yeah.
Let's let it expand, and all mandalas from all cultures mix it into each other. You know.
I'm in an African percussion group, and I used to feel funny about being this middle-aged white lady playing the African doom 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 doom, but I hold the bottom for the rest of the guys. But I took a class with Mama Di Chieta, a famous drummer, and he said the drum has no color, because someone was saying why are you teaching all these whites the drumming? They said the drum has no color. They love it. It's that rhythm, that beat, that's so primitive and primal. You gotta
we all got a
share
heart.
it.
We all got a heart with a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Whose heart doesn't beat?
I mean, come on, rock and roll was based on those rhythms, those original wah 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 do si ba dum dum dum. I mean.
Which also rock and roll came from African roots.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I didn't say it right.
But was embraced by all the cultures of the world.
All the cultures.
As reggae.
That's
and,
right.
all the musics and cultures
and
are
then all these
mixing up.
people attacked Bob Dylan and stuff because he started to do rock and roll and play electric guitar. I mean, the folk singers wanted to break his guitar in half. I mean, just come on. Why are people so...
Yeah, well,
stuck?
I would hope that by this day and age, 2024, all the cultures can intermingle and mix, and we would put less walls between it. That's why the whole cultural appropriation thing is just you're just like almost like making, you know, cultural appreciation and mixing, you know, a bad thing when we should all just become one in a
I know, like, yeah. I mean, I know there are people that like, look, I do a lot of Hindu art. I'm just into it, you know. My friends call me Hindu. I mean, I just,
Hindu.
I just love it. I resonate with the chants. Maybe I was Hindu in another life.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just love the goddesses. But for a while there, I was saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And that's not my culture. So I was making up my own goddesses. I make the moon bathing goddess, you know, and you know, Jimmy, he's a god. But anyway, but then I just said, they called to me. These like paintings called to me. Like I had a dream of Hanuman was in my room jumping around. I said, I have to paint it.
Yeah, totally.
So like I'm not gonna. Yeah, if you do it with respect, do it.
Yeah, you're not trying to like desecrate anybody's culture. You're trying to be like, oh, I got love, and I want to express my love, you know, in perhaps the way your culture expresses love.
That's right.
So talking about that, something I really like that you do are the sand mandalas at CoSM. You usually do them during full moon ceremonies.
Yes.
And some people would attach the sand mandala to Tibetan, right? Tell me a little about this that you do.
Okay. The way it started was after the World Trade Center, I was very upset and I was suffering. And I was teaching full time. And I look and I see that Tibetan monks are coming to teach the sacred arts of Tibet. I said, I just got to do that. I have to. This is their whole thing is compassion. I'm not feeling compassion right now. I'm pissed at everybody. I want to see if I could take this class. I let my school district know I would like to take this class. You don't need to give me, and I'll pay for my substitute, but I would like to take this class. It was a week-long class. And they let me go. They said, go and come back and bring something about peace back with you. It was the best. We were like, I think only 25 or 26 of us came, and there were like 25 monks. It was like a monk for each of us if we wanted. And we learned everything. We learned how to chant like from our bellies. And one thing I noticed that even though these monks, some of them were the ones that came down with the Dalai Lama and escaped from Tibet, they were joyful in the present moment. That was one thing I noticed. They were playing basketball. They were laughing at us behind the mic. Sorry, they would hold up their garments and laugh because we're trying to chant like, and we're laughing, and so they're trying not to laugh. And I just noticed how like full of joy they were. So that was the first positive thing. Then they showed us how to work with the sand and with special tools. And we got to work on little lunchroom trays and make designs. But we didn't get to work on their sand mandala. And they swept it up. And it was like, oh my God, this is such an amazing thing. Holding an intention, which was for peace, that sand mandala. And then taking that sand and then spreading it in your garden and in the water. I said, I want to do this with people. And when I came back, I was at that time part of Jean Houston's mystery school, and I was an editor there. She says, anybody have an idea for a book about a book that, you know, a kit, an art book kit? And I was saying, I want to do a sand mandala art book kit, something. Anyway, at that time, I was already doing little sand mandalas with just friends and stuff. And that got me on the map. I wrote this book. And then I started doing sand mandalas everywhere. Women's drum circles.
What was it called?
Create your own sand mandalas for meditation, prayer, and healing. Don't buy it. It's on Instagram. It's out of print. It's on Instagram. They're selling it for like $100. It's not worth $100. It's because I had the Dalai Lama's name in the book, and the book was printed in China. They made me take his name out of the book. I mean, it just was so like.
So weird.
But the book was good. For the price it was, which was $20 at the time. The book had $25.
And it came with some.
It came with sand. It came with a little platform and the book was so tiny. It was supposed to be this big. They cheaped out.
That's so
anyway,
cool.
So that got me on the map. So then I got to teach at various places. And then when I was assisting the Greys at Visionary Art, I offered to do the sand mandala as a gift for the class. And so we would open the class with the beginning of a sand mandala and close the class by sweeping it up. And then at the full moons, I started to offer that for them too. It's like my gift to the community.
That's beautiful.
It's lovely.
And now you do it at the full moon ceremony.
Yeah, it's lovely. People put in their intentions, and everybody's intentions are in there, and then we sweep it up. Everybody gets a little bag to take home.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always love participating in them.
Oh, yeah,
It's usually in
thanks.
the parlor where we're all live painting, and the Grays always go there and they, pray for the growth of their community. And
Yeah.
then we all take a little bag of sand.
In the
back
beginning,
home.
there was no Entheon.
Mm-hmm.
And we were praying that Entheon get built. Now Entheon is built. So now that we're holding intentions that the faces go on, the angels,
One step at a time.
Yeah, but it happens.
Totally. Tell me about the power of prayer. Like this intention
Yeah.
and like praying. Like to some people
Yes.
might think like,
Oh, it's so
pray,
hokey, right?
what a cheesy religious thing to do. And it's like, no, we are consciousness manifesting through the physical plane, but we gotta use our consciousness in order to send out these requests to the Most High for whatever we want to resonate with, a positive future or positive things to happen in our lives.
Amen. You create. We are creators. We were, if you look, if the Bible, whoever was written by, whatever, it gives you hints that we are created in the image of God. And if you go back to the First Testament and you look at the word for God, like when Moses sees the burning bush, he says, "What do I call you?" And the bush replies to him, "Ayer asher ayer," which means I am that which I am. I am that I am. Isn't that kind of like a riddle? Like I'm God and I am.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying I am that I am, and that's God's name.
I am just,
So like it's kind of saying that you are a creator.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the letters that Ayer asher ayer, Ayer asher ayer. If you look at the letters and the Hebrews from right to left, they read it. If you hold it this way, it looks like a man's body with a head and the different letters. So basically, there's these riddles like, you are a powerful being. And then I read this book, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh.
I love that book.
And
those books.
The one thing that really got me of the first book was, don't pray to me like, oh, please, I need this, I need this, I need this. Yeah. Because if you need something, you're already in lack of it.
Yeah.
Pray as if it's already happening. Thank me.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying, so right now, I'm going through this hip issue. I say, oh, thank you for my healing. I say it every morning. I say, thank you for my body healing. Thank you for the hip going,
But you really got to feel it. You can't
feel it.
You
have
can't
to
lie
see it.
And be like, oh yeah, I'm saying thank you, but this hip is not working for me right now. You got to vibrate like, I know I'm healing. I know this hip is one step at a time getting better, and really believe it for your body to then act so, right?
True. But, at least saying it is a positive thing. Because, we used to do this thing with the Mandala class. Thank you for the moment. Like it might be a sucky moment, but there's always a lesson. So we would say, thank you for the moment. And you start off like this. Thank you for I remember I cut the tip of my finger off and while I was teaching on the paper cutter. And I'm saying, thank you for the moment. Thank you for the moment. I was so pissed off. I said, what the heck is the lesson in this? And I remember I clearly had never heard a lesson before. I heard someone say, slow down. Like, stop rushing around, Rosie. And then you start saying, thank you for the moment. And then you slow down. Mm-hmm. So if you start off, even if you don't believe it yet, even say I'm healing, I'm healing, I'm healing, and then eventually say I'm healing, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed.
But just vibrating gratitude,
gratitude, and smiling if you can.
Mm-hmm. Once again, we can smile. But are we really smiling, or are we really vibing the feeling that would bring a smile naturally to our face, and thus creating the vibration that creates a reality that deserves a smile in a way?
Both ends.
Yeah.
Maybe both ends.
Yeah,
if
totally.
you smile, they say the mere act of smiling makes endorphins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta hijack that brain.
Yeah,
or somebody else will.
But yes, a smile is good.
So I love the prayer aspect of mandala art, but I also love the impermanence aspect of it. You make this beautiful thing, and then you say this ain't shit. Boom, let's erase it all, and we are all gonna die. This whole world will disappear one day. It doesn't mean anything because really we are eternal somewhere else.
Yeah. But the people are very attached, and especially
Oh,
to their
yeah?
art.
Mm.
And like we had that fire in my garage. We lost stuff in the fire, and I was just so glad to be alive. I didn't really care about that stuff. But I taught a class where we did the art. It was about thank you for the moment. It was the thank you for the moment one, and what we're attached to. And I said, okay, now we're going to burn our mandalas. Everybody freaked out. They took out their cameras. They were taking pictures of the mandala because they had to burn it. They wanted to save it. And then I said, no, I'm not going to make you burn it. But I just wanted to show you how attached you are. It's something you just did for an hour. How attached we become. I'm attached to my paintings for
Yeah,
sure.
no, of course.
When I sell them, I like, oh, bye, honey.
I don't even want to sell my paintings. I'm super attached to my
Mike won't let me
paintings.
sell Shiva or Hanuman. He just wants them.
But at the same time, I'm trying to already psychologically getting used to that if a flood comes and takes my whole house with all of my records and toys and paintings, I will still be at peace and okay. And even if it kills me too, I will be at peace and okay because I am a drop of the Most High consciousness. And these are all things that we play with like kids with toys, but it doesn't really matter in the end. But it's okay to love it so much and want to have it around us. It's our choice. That's why we come to this world of the physical.
Like Katrina, but that was a while back. But there's all kinds of disasters happening these days. That painting is about Hawaii. Where is that one? Oh, well. That whole thing about like, holy shit, when you lose everything, your house and,
But eventually we will all lose everything. Yeah. Nobody escapes that. Some will experience it sooner than others.
It made me think about art, though. It made me think about, is it important? I started to go through this whole thing about like, oh my God, people are dying and losing everything, and I'm sitting here making art. But then I made the painting about Maui and like Lahaina. I said, because no, I'm going to use it. I'm going to be an artivist. I'm going to use my art to.
Well, you're being present through an experience that is not your own. Somebody else was chosen to have that experience by the Most High or maybe Babylon system.
Or the most low.
That's up to discussion. Nevertheless, they've gone through that experience. People all around the world are going through hard experience. I would say like most people are going through hard experience. And I resonate with you, the guilt of like, ooh, actually like my life is pretty sweet, even with its ups and downs and even with its own disillusions and heartbreaks. Overall, there's plenty to be grateful for. And should I feel bad in the contrast of somebody else suffering more? I don't know if that helps them.
I don't think it helps. Because you want to send out a better vibe, a love vibe.
Send out a
We had like heart chakra surgery, I always say. Like we're going through heart chakra surgery. Our hearts are all like breaking but opening up. Like it's like, you feel it. People go like this. Like they feel like something's going on. But like,
may the compassion to those people be a vibration of love. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for you and send you more badness. I want to
send a blanket of love and cover the whole planet. Send it out like that. After we do the salmon doll, we do that. We send a big blanket of love to cover everything. And do it every day. Hey, consider this, people. Driving in your car. Even though you can't even see the faces of the people anymore because the windows are so blacked out. You send love to every person you see and driving by, every person you walk in the street. Silently into yourself, although think you're insane. It's just like, I love you, bless you. I love you, bless you, I love you, bless you. And just say, it's just such a good thing to do. Sometimes someone will smile back and pick it up. You'll be surprised.
I walk, I don't drive, so it gives me a better chance to smile at people.
Yes, just, even if you just in your mind say something positive. What do they say? Act locally. Think globally, but act locally.
Yeah.
Just.
Well, you start with your own self. Only live inside your own body.
Right, and be at peace here, yes.
You start with your own vibration. That's really, truly your number one responsibility is owning your vibration and who you are and what you emanate. Then the people around you, then your neighborhood, city, country, continent, the whole world. We wish the best for everybody because everybody is one, but also,
space beings.
Right. So we send out good vibes and we try not to take too much of the suffering for others, but observing the suffering of others and having empathy and compassion can also help us hopefully open up our hearts even more for for like the liberation of humanity
Right.
is just dying to like, go into the positive timeline.
When I was with the Tibetan monks, and they had a question and answer time then through an interpreter, and the head Rinpoche there, I asked something about like, well, how do you deal? I'm feeling angry about the World Trade Center. How do you deal with that, like with China and Tibet? And he said, we pray for our enemies, because if not, like that, because they're one.
Yeah.
And the greatest, their path is compassion. So they got the greatest test of compassion of being, sent out of their homeland. So they pray for their enemies. That was a big click in my mind. Like, okay, I got to pray for my enemies, and that helped me even with like my ex-husband, like being more positive towards him. It was something that clicked in me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So if we could do that.
Yeah, and we do it through our art. Obviously, you do mandalas, but you also do other images that are not mandalas, and
Right.
they're entities from a higher dimension of reality.
That's right. I make my own goddesses up.
That's beautiful, and you invite higher dimensional spirits.
Yeah.
Into your home and hopefully your world and community.
Right.
Would you say you're like a visionary artist too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. And it definitely, whether the visions came like from meditation or from like a visionary vegetable, it's similar. Like one might open the door, one might get you through the door, but
What's your favorite visionary vegetable?
Well, I'm not that experienced, but I would say mushrooms.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But what about the 60s? Didn't you hippies do a lot of acid back then?
But it was not always a good experience. I was young, and sometimes it was a little too intense. But it wasn't all like Yellow Submarine. It was kind of
Yeah.
although.
But was
But
there
my
lessons?
friends were always,
Was there lessons in those experiences? May they be harsh, or was it just strange?
I think the harshest experience I had straightened me out, and I made a pact with God. If I could just sort of kind of normalize, then I'll be a real good girl. I was young, and that kind of like straightened me out a little bit. Got me out of a certain crowd. Just made me like, all right, I'm gonna like,
But
be me.
So your ways of finding your visions is not necessarily through entheogens. It's more through natural means.
I would say.
Music, drumming, yoga.
Yeah, I would say more, but yeah, maybe I'm not one of those people that can, be high and then grab a paintbrush. I may get the concepts, but it comes later.
I can't paint when I'm high.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
I'm just like, oh, I can't function. I'm pretty useless.
Yeah,
I'm just like.
Same here. I'm not pretty, like, like what do you like even one drink would make me drunk. So like I'm pretty. I forgot what they call that, cheap date when it comes to that.
Okay, nice. Good to know. So tell me about the visionary art community. You're part of CoSM, obviously. You're also part of the Vision Train.
Oh, choo-choo, Vision Train buddies, love you.
Tell me about the Vision Train.
Okay, so Amanda Sage, my beloved friend, and she really upped my art game a lot, when I took classes with her. She upped my notch many times, and my ability with the Miche technique. And anyway, she had this vision of the Vision Train. And that time wasn't a physical train, but she would hope it was a physical train. But you could draw a train car and put what you want in the train car. What is your, what do you want to bring to the world in your train car, whether it's like natural plants or music, community. And then COVID happened. And she said, I remember she called me, she says, we got to get this, we got to really make this thing happen. We got to do this. We got to get the train going. And we have now the longest, probably on record, Zoom call going ever of visionary artists, any kind of artist. You could be a poet, a musician, coming on this train, gathering, and especially during COVID, it was a lot of people were stuck in their homes.
So this concept of the train, just to rephrase,
I'm sorry,
because most people who look into this might not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've jumped ahead as if people know.
Well, a lot of people will also,
Yeah.
but just to explain to those who don't, the Vision Train, which was a concept that Amanda Sage had around 2012,
Yeah.
came into fruition in 2020 when we're all locked down under the COVID mandates as a Zoom call
A Zoom call.
that never ended. By now, it's at like what, year 3 or 4?
4.
Yeah.
And
And people tune in to do art
we have friends. It's a
together.
global community. I have friends in Mexico, Australia, Finland, I mean, England, all over the place,
Mhm.
all over the United States. I could go visit any country and have a Vision Train buddy. And sometimes we meet up now in person. And it's like so exciting. And it's as if you know them so well just from being on the train with them, on the Zoom call with them. And
That's
and then
awesome.
you're there for advice, like, hey, I'm getting on now. I could use some help with this painting. I can't decide what to do. And then they'll, offer advice. And it's just a lovely thing. But you know what? It's going to be a physical thing someday.
Oh yeah?
I think it is.
Like an actual like metal
It's going to
machine
be
that
like
goes
a
on train tracks?
yeah, it's going to be like, it's going to be rolling through CoSM. It's going to, CoSM's a train stop.
Well, that's if the future continues being physical. What if the future moves into a higher vibrational, less
Uh-oh.
physical reality? It'll be easier to create a train made out of light matter.
Oh, I know. Remember that, folks, when they have a fake, alien invasion, that it's probably just
But
hologram.
why you think that? I believe real aliens will come through and they'll help us through our process of ascension.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to
Those
come.
we'll accept.
They're already here, and we're just going to like tune our frequency to be able to see them hanging out with us.
Because
right
we
here.
are one. We're one with them too, right?
Yeah,
We're one with everything.
The future is positive, and once we tune up our frequency, we'll be like, oh, okay, light matter. Now it can create like a train
yeah.
wheel, and then we create a magical light train.
I know, but I'm like totally into the physical.
Uh-huh.
I like.
Don't be too attached, Rosie.
I'm not too attached, but I just don't want to be like. I don't want to be like having an AI, an artificial lover. You know what I mean? I want to really feel my man.
Who says you got an AI lover? What about?
And I don't trust now.
You already got a physical lover, but maybe both you and Mike will turn once again into a higher frequency where you don't stop being you as your personality and your consciousness.
All right.
But also you're
going.
vibrating higher, and you just got a higher range of existence.
Okay, that's true. Like astral traveling kind of vibe, where you just like can be
not
anywhere.
a technological thing where we're using, once again, matter in order to give us spiritual powers, true spiritual powers, and true spiritual connection. Where when you're talking to the aliens, like, oh, I know the consciousness of that being. That's not artificial. That's not fake, because I'm communicating it with it telepathically. This is my personal belief.
Yeah. I hear you.
But that's great about the train.
Yeah, I got off on the sidetrack because of all the AI art that
I know.
I kind of upsets me when certain people say, oh, that was my art, that this person has my art, but they change the face on it, and that upsets me a little bit, because with music industry, don't be messing with my copyright, but with art, that people steal stuff left and right.
Well, I'm sure the musicians don't love strangers making a whole album in the style and voice of a musical artist. I'm sure they're not stoked neither. People should generally respect each other's styles, but it happens past AI art. Like, it's worse when a human who is not even telling a computer or robot to do it says like, ooh, I like that person's styles, and then just bites it and then presents it as its own. That can hurt your feelings, but then like, haven't we all done it to some degree? And where do we kind of let it go and be like, we all inspire each other?
Also, like if in the visionary art class with the Greys, there'll be like 80 people in this class. And well, not now. Now it's smaller, but and then like 25 of them will get the same image come through. Mm-hmm. So like we're all part of this.
But
osmosis.
Are they really getting the same image, or are they just all being inspired by the maestro there?
No, I'm saying like I think they in other words, people say, oh, I saw an eagle. And it was over a mountain, that kind of thing. Or I saw they'll get a similar.
So true vision. Spiritual.
Some like it was in the room, some kind of vibe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's right there. That's evidence that it doesn't have to be some AI copycat fake thing. We but also.
But like we get inspired too. Like I took that face from Da Vinci. sort
Right,
of
but
kind
you
of.
transform it to your own. Like I
Yeah.
saw that generally the structure was a Da Vinci piece, but I didn't think you bit off Da
Oh no,
Vinci.
just
You
the
just used the skeleton and did your own thing on
just
it.
try to not make it like this perfect little, you know, made up big lip chick of today. I want it to just be a classical, you know, something.
Well, I love the train, the Vision train. I haven't been on it in a while. Actually, I was there for the anniversary in March.
Yeah, come on back and
Yeah.
I'll interview you and you could talk about your book.
I would love that. Yeah, like you know, I should get on and let people know if they don't know that I got a brand new art book.
Yeah,
and, you know,
yeah.
they're so into the visionary
Oh, well,
art scene.
let's make that. Let's get that on the calendar.
Yeah,
And I'll
sounds
have you
good.
come on. I'll get the gang on.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Love your
So,
stuff.
How long do you feel you've been doing visionary art, or before you even knew visionary art was a thing? Did you call it psychedelic art? Were you always
Yes.
doing paintings even when you were young? Like, what's your history before
Okay.
you know reaching the Greys, CoSM,
Okay.
Vision Train, etc.?
Gotcha. So I was always good in art. I mean, my teachers say, "Oh, you should give your daughter art lessons," you know, like that. But I was really, really good in math too. And I pursued when I went to college, I was a math major. And I was probably a better mathematician than I was an artist, I'll be honest. But I took my first class, hippie days, people remember, walk into this class, instead of like the guy in a suit saying he's a math teacher, I walk into the class, say, "Hi, my name is John." The guy's got a ponytail. I said, "Oh man, these are my people." You know, I just knew that I was part of this community. I didn't feel as comfortable with the very conservative math department. I shouldn't say that because math is great. I love math, but that wasn't my vibe at the time. And I switched my major to the dismay of my dad. I was supposed to be an actuary. I'm glad I'm not.
I don't even know what that means.
I didn't even know either. Anyway, you sit in front of a computer, I'll tell you that much, and it's working with numbers. And I would have been a great math teacher because I would have got the art in with it. But I ended up going into art. And I come in with, like, they say, bring in a canvas. I come in with one of these like little canvases. And then people were wheeling these canvases. And I said, "Oh my God, what am I doing in the art department?" But you know what? I hung in there. I loved it. It brought me joy. And it made me a better art teacher because I did not want my kids to be intimidated, like by the big guy with the canvas who's been, you know. And so I switched to art. And then, and because of hippie days, we were used to psychedelic art everywhere. And I remember my mother I can't believe she let me do that. But she let me paint my doors and my closet doors and stuff with, like, you know, like, I remember it said, "Lose your head." And it was a girl reaching up and the head was up in the sky with the psychedelic letters that fit into each other. I don't know if you guys can picture it, but they kind of melted into each other, like the Grateful Dead lettering.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, like this.
Yeah, because you're a deadhead?
I was
Yeah.
a deadhead. This is for sale. Anyway, see, look, did you know this? It said ate the acid. You can't read it. But anyway, it's kind of like hidden in the Grateful Dead thing.
So if you want an original painting, Grateful Dead jacket, people.
Small, ladies, small. I have to.
But you also got a large one, right?
I got a large one there too.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But anyway, so that's what influenced my art, the psychedelic art. And then I took the mandala classes, and then that was more visionary than psychedelic. It was just like, yeah, visions just coming through. It's, I remember my third eye actually hurt.
Oh, wow.
That night, the first night in the mandala class. Like something opened up. And now it's just like, you know, open.
Yeah.
Pituitary, thought, whatever it is.
Would you say you have a little bit of a you know, seventh sense or psychic ability?
Oh, yeah, totally. I do.
Tell me about it.
Double Pisces. You know, what do you expect?
Oh, you're Pisces?
Double Pisces.
Okay, cool.
Sun and moon.
Okay.
And you know, Michael's, he's a double Virgo, which is the complete opposite.
What's your birthday?
St. Patrick's Day, March 17th.
Okay, cool. I'm March 3rd, so as you know, I'm Pisces.
Oh, that's right. You're March 1st. And
3rd.
Oh, 3rd. And then Allison is like right the
Also.
day. Oh, the same day.
Yeah, March 3rd.
And I gave birth on the 2nd.
Oh, wow.
That was my give birth day.
Ha.
But anyway.
But yeah, so
yeah,
you
Pisces. Yeah. I don't know. know, just I know if someone's going to call, like think about somebody and they call, or I sometimes get a vibe about somebody, like if they're up to some no good or they're up to good. I just
So you were always doing art through your whole life?
I was always doing art, like, you know, I had to have everything. I had to have, my parents were really good to me. I said, I want this. I want Play-Doh, you know. I want a Play-Doh machine. I want an enamel kiln. I want a guitar. They were very good with helping me be creative. I'm into music. I could have been a music major.
Okay.
You know.
Well, now you play the drums, right?
I play the drums, but I was a violinist. I was the concert master in junior high.
Oh.
So that was the first violin in the first section. I was quite good. And then I kind of like rather be playing guitar.
Okay.
And then I quit that too.
Oh.
I don't know, but I'm back to it. I got it. I didn't notice. If you notice in the living room, I have a.
I saw a guitar. I thought maybe it was Mike's.
No, it's mine.
Okay.
So I got a lot of. Never get bored. That's me. I'll never be bored. People said, "Oh my God, you're going to retire from teaching. You're going to be so bored." I don't have enough time to be bored. I'm just, you know.
Great.
Have the drumming community, have the art community, have the CoSM, you know, gang, and.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to make sure my mom looks at this conversation because she was trying to learn guitar and then she, you know, it's almost like she needed classes in order to do it. But I think
It helps though.
Of course. But I think she has enough momentum to practice on her own and you know, take it further.
You know how I learned guitar?
How?
I bought the Joni Mitchell, which was very big at the time, Joni Mitchell's songbook, and I think Crosby, Stills, and Nash songbook. And they have the little boxes where it shows what chords to play.
Oh.
And that's how I learned how to play guitar.
Okay.
Because of those artists, I memorized all the chords from them. And I
look
never
for
took
that.
a lesson. I wish
It's not like the notes. Well, you knew how to read notes from your violin in days,
Yes.
but you need to see where to place the fingers on the guitar, really.
Yeah, I do know, but I memorize the chords. So like I know this is a C chord, and this is a D chord, and, you know, that kind of thing.
That's beautiful. So
I know you're running out of time now, right?
Yeah, we gotta take a train soon. But let me ask you one more question because I think it wouldn't be fair to not ask you about you going to Woodstock. You went to Woodstock. I think that's something very special.
And we didn't have cell phones to call home, you know. Went to Woodstock. So I had my boyfriend at the time, and his friend who had the car. He had the car. He was the one who had a car. We didn't have a car.
What was your age?
17, going on 18. You know, I think it was the summer, I forget. And I went and bought the tickets. We bought 3 tickets, you know, the 3-day passes, all 3 of us. And we decided we're going to go a day early because we heard there's going to be a lot of traffic. So let's just go a day early. So Thursday we get there, it's already miles of cars, you know. And we parked the car like, who the hell knows, we're walking a mile or 2 just to get to the ferry. And that's the day before. We get in, the gates are all down. It's a free concert now, right? Now I got all my tickets, right? And I was just, it was the most exciting thing. First of all, hippies from all over the country. That was the most exciting thing. So no, there were a lot of, sometimes people would look at you in your neighborhood and they say, hey, hippie, dirty hippie, that kind of thing. But going there and seeing all these beautiful, beautiful men and women just wearing their bell bottoms and their flowers in their hair, that was the best turn on for me.
It was your tribe.
Oh, it was my people. I was so happy. But then, we didn't have a cell phone because it was so crowded. My friend Nadine was supposed to, she had a camper with food and stuff. I could never find her. The whole time we were there, I never found her. So I never had a place to stay.
Oh, no.
I never had food. And so we were like, you know, like, I was living on ice cream pops. Whatever the guys had left food, there were places like, you know, they would serve food, but they were running out of food. And then it was raining, and we had a tarp to sit on, and someone else had a blanket, so we met them. We sat on their blanket, and we put the tarp over us, and we sit in on the tarp. And we stayed for the first 2 days.
Where do you sleep?
Oh, I slept in a chicken coop, and I'm not kidding. It was more like a beehive. There were no chickens in it.
Oh, no.
It was an abandoned chicken coop. It was
and it was full of bees?
There were bees.
Did you get stung?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Nice.
I did not get stung. It was just, it was great and it was horrible. Like the bathrooms were horrible.
Oh no.
And
Old school festival days.
oh,
This is what, 1967 or 69?
9, I think.
Okay, 69.
8 or 9.
I should know my
I should
Woodstock
know
days,
too.
yeah.
I have. Wait a second. I have my ticket. No, I gave my tickets. I donated my tickets to CoSM for them.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Anyway, and so then all of a sudden, my friend Richie, the one who had the car, he said, "We got to go. I'm never gonna find my car. My car's gonna." He got so paranoid that he had to go find his car. That we left. We missed Hendrix. We had to leave. But that's okay. I saw Hendrix 4 times.
Okay.
That's one of the benefits of being old. I got to see Jimi Hendrix 4 times.
Who did you catch at Woodstock?
Oh, all the first bands, like
Richie Havens?
Yeah, Richie was great, and I saw him many times after that. And there's Joe Cocker and
Santana?
Canned Heat. No, I didn't
Grateful
see
Dead?
Santana. No.
No. Jefferson
First of all, I was walking around the whole time. That's going to sound crazy, but because I lived in New York, and because I went to the Fillmore East all the time, I knew the ushers. I was always at the Fillmore East. The music wasn't the most important thing to me, and that sounds crazy. The whole experience was more exciting to me. And my friends were so whacked out on this blanket the whole time. I was running around meeting people and trying to find Nadine. But
were you on anything or were you sober?
I was probably the only straight person at Woodstock. Someone had to be in the group.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Can't take that brown
As a matter of fact,
acid.
the guy that I went to Woodstock with, he says, "I don't remember anything." I don't remember anything, and that's funny, right? They say if you were there, you couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
So I actually remember everything. That sometimes it's good to be present and fully aware.
I think it's always good to be present and aware. Ideally, when you're activated, also being present and aware through the experience.
But could you imagine my mother though, like saying, "Oh my God, where is she? Is she alive?" Like no phones.
Well, more exciting, more real. I think it's like precious because that could never happen anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So the first fabulous festival. I went to a couple of reunions, but it's not the same.
No. Did you go to Woodstock '99? No, that's not the same. Huh?
No, I went to one or two of them, and it was a little lame.
Yeah. Wow. At least you lived the real one. Well, I gotta take a train to the
Yes, I know.
city.
We gotta get you to the train. Oh, man.
I got a book launch.
Yay,
in
baby.
Manhattan.
Sell a lot of books. Buy the book, everyone. Buy the book.
I worked so hard on this.
And find me on Instagram at Illuminated Rose.
Yeah. Do you got some final words of wisdom for the viewers of this show?
Spread love. It's contagious.
Yay.
Spread love. It's contagious. And more contagious than any of these so-called spread love, baby. Love you, Chris. Love you, Paulina.
And thank you guys for watching another episode of Chris Dyer's Creative Friends. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you next episode. Blessings!
Bye-bye!
Next episode, Mike Love.
We've been given the power of art expression. And so people look to us. They look to us for wisdom. And we've been given that wisdom. And I think just like me, you would never take credit for that wisdom because it is divine. It's something that comes into you. And your art is something that comes not from your heart, but through your heart, through your spirit, right?
Totally.
And when you create your greatest works is when you are most open to that. Like, this is for everybody. It's for all of us to create together.
Right.
I'm a conduit for it only because I'm absolutely open and absolutely ready for it to come through me for the highest good of everyone.
So please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Big thanks and see you next episode. Peace.